It is so important to fight the right enemy. You've got to fight the real enemy, not God. Amen? So when you walk through a valley, a crisis, a difficult situation, don't ever blame God and don't ever doubt God's character. Every wise soldier will tell you this, that if you want to win the war, you have to fight the right enemy. And blaming God is the silliest thing you could ever do. Blaming God is the first loss in the battle. Because why? Because you got the wrong enemy. Amen? Every smart soldier knows that if you fight the right enemy, 50% of the battle is won. You must always fight the right enemy. But the problem with us Christians is this: we don't always do it right. Now let me demonstrate a little something to you. Imagine this is the enemy in front of you. And so when you're facing your enemy, behind you is your commander-in-chief. And in our context, it is God behind us as our commander-in-chief. And so this is the enemy, and you're pointing your gun in the right direction at the enemy. But the problem with most Christians is that when we go through a crisis, when you go through a crisis, you start to blame God, doubt God, and you start to fight God. And when you do that, do you know spiritually what you are doing? When you start to do that, what you're doing is that you're turning your gun and you're pointing it to God because you're fighting Him. And so you go, God, you know, I'm just so upset with you. I'm angry with you. God, why are you sending me to die? God, I have served you my whole life. Why are you not blessing me? See, friends, you are pointing your gun in the wrong direction. You are not only not fighting the right enemy, you are fighting God. And while you are busy fighting God, your back is exposed to the real enemy behind you, and you are an easy target. You are so exposed to the real enemy behind you when you are pointing your gun in the wrong direction. There is a principle to be learned in life, and it is this: you can only fight one enemy. You can only fight one front line. You can either choose to fight God, or you can choose to fight the devil, the sicknesses, and all evil. But you can only fight one enemy at one time. Now, do you know in the book of Ephesians, the Bible talks about us Christians having the armor to fight. It talks about us having the breastplate of righteousness. It talks about us having the shield of faith. But you know, it doesn't say anything about our back being covered. But you know why it says that? That is because God's got your back. Your back need not be covered because God's got your back as long as you've got your gun pointed in the right direction and God is behind you, covering your back. He's got your back. So listen, when you go through a valley, you must always fight the right enemy.